Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to the Truth Talk podcast. I'm back here with D.
Hi, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the strange passing of Matthew Perry. But before we begin, I just wanted to let my Patreons know a new uncensored video on Michael Jackson is dropping in the next 2 days. I am finishing up on it, so be on the lookout for it. Thank you all. Now let's get right into it. On October 28th, the world was shocked when it was reported that Friends actor Matthew Perry, 54 at the time, passed away in his private home hot tub. It was reported that around 1 to 2 p.m., Perry sent his assistant on some errands. By the time the assistant made it back to the home around 4 p.m., Perry was found unresponsive in his hot tub. The assistant immediately called the emergency services, but it was too late for Matthew and he had passed away. The police claimed to have found no indication of foul play and also reported that no substances were found in the home. In some strange way, Matthew just passes away with no explanation whatsoever. Homicide detectives investigated the situation and stated that although there were no obvious signs of trauma, the official cause of Perry's death is pending the coroner's investigation. The medical examiner said on its website that Perry's cause of death was deferred, which usually means that further investigation is needed. This left people wondering how this could have happened and why. Did Matthew Perry really just go out in his home's hot tub, or is there more to this story? As of right now, there isn't an abundance of evidence that would give us an idea of what really happened. The whole situation seems clouded in mystery. However, there has been a few indications that this situation seems far more sinister. For example, if we head over to Instagram and check out his last post, you can see exactly what I mean. On October 23rd, Matthew posted this photo of himself in his hot tub with a clear view of a crescent moon in the sky. This was the last post on his Instagram, and 5 days later he would pass away in that very same hot tub. We know that in Hollywood nothing is a coincidence, but a sign that points to what really happened. If we look at his Instagram, we start to see that almost all of his last posts were all strange. Like the post right before this one was him pointing his camera at the moon with a caption that read, "Do you understand what I'm trying to say?" We know occultists believe and practice moon magic. During different stages of the moon, rituals are performed, one of those rituals being a sacrifice. Moon magic is an ancient form of witchcraft where occultists use the phases of the moon for the energy it releases. The fact that Matthew was pointing at the moon while asking if you know what I'm talking about is strange to me. I believe he was leaving clues to what was soon going to happen. Something that caught my attention was that it seemed that Matthew was foreshadowing his death on Friends. In one episode called The One with Rachel's Other Sister, he states, "I guess I would be the one to die first."
What do you know? I guess I'll be the one who dies first.
And it gets worse in another episode. In this episode, Courtney Cox, who plays Matthew's wife in Friends, calls Matthew her drowning husband.
Chandler, what is the matter with your face? Wait, this picture's supposed to say Geller and be married, not local woman say drowning moron. Hey, don't laugh at him. Why drowning moron?
Why drowning moron?
This line that no one thought about before now stands out like a sore thumb. This is when Matthew was at his peak on Friends, and it seems like he was foreshadowing his death on the show. I also found it strange that Matthew passed away in October, 3 days away from Halloween. If you saw yesterday's video on the reason you shouldn't celebrate Halloween, then you should know Halloween is a pagan festival. During the month of October, the pagan Celtics used to perform sacrifice rituals to the god of death, the very same gods Hollywood worship to this day. Last year, it was Takeoff who left for a gathering on Halloween night and passed away. Just like Matthew Perry, he left signs of his passing, as he was even seen standing next to an RIP poster in the messy video that was released the same day he passed. This is not a coincidence, but foreshadowing, just like Matthew did with the photo of the hot tub. Something I found that was interesting while searching to see if I found a Masonic connection with Matthew's family was a man with the same name as Matthew who was a Masonic leader. Matthew C. Perry was an American naval officer and was a Freemason, although I couldn't find a direct link with the two. To me, they seem to resemble each other. I also looked into both the Matthews lineage, and it appears that both of them trace back to a military background. I don't know if it's the same Perrys, but it's interesting since they do kinda look alike. To me, this entire situation seems strange, especially when we consider the fact that he just so happens to send his assistant on errands, and then 2 hours later he passes away. And it's always the same story when it comes to these celebrities. There's always some mystery behind how it happened. Usually when regular people pass away, there's always a clear-cut explanation, at least most of the time, when it's situations like this. But when it's celebrities, it's always shrouded in mystery. We always have to look for clues to be able to find the truth. And I believe this is what's going on here.
Yeah, this is definitely crazy, especially since in his last 7 Instagram posts, he was calling himself Matman, referring to Batman. And if you take the time to go through the comments, people were there asking him, what does he mean, if he's okay, if he needs help, while he was making these weird captions on his posts talking about, do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Do you know what I mean? But not answering anybody's question to whether he was okay or not, or if he needed help, which created more mystery. And while I was looking on his Instagram account, I actually saw that all of his recent posts have been from October, and he had not posted anything else since last year in December. All of this stood out to me, and I haven't found out exactly what the connection is to Batman yet, but I really want to look into it because my theory is that this was a signal for help. He's using Batman, who is a hero, and every time his symbol is shown, he shows up to help. He has these 7 posts of Batman back to back, and I feel like he could have possibly been reaching out for help.
Yeah, that's a great point, especially like you said, all his recent posts were all in October, which is strange. Why would he start posting now the same month that he's about to pass away? That just also seems like a red flag. And then looking into the entire situation, the fact that it was reported that 2 weeks before he seemed to be in good spirits, it's not like he would have wanted to do this to himself. At least that's what it appears like. So how did this happen? Did he just fall? Did he trip? What could have possibly led to this to happen? And I know there's situations that are accidents, but with all of this foreshadowing, with all of this imagery, it doesn't seem like an accident. It seems like this was something that was planned or orchestrated. And it's strange that even though he was found in his hot tub, they're not saying that it was because of a drowning. They're not saying that that was the cause of the situation. So it's also creating more mystery, especially when the last post he made was a picture of himself in that very hot tub that he passed away in. All of this seems suspicious to me. And we know that we're in the month of October where these occultists are known to participate in occult rituals. This is something that we saw last year and the year before, and is going to continue to happen, especially with these people that are a part of Hollywood and took the oath.
Yeah, and you know what's sad is I feel like they're going to spin the whole relapse narrative, especially since this is something he has dealt with in his life in the past for years, and there's actually videos of him saying that he was still struggling with this problem. So I'm pretty positive that's the narrative that they're going to try to spin on top of this, especially since they're rambling around already, changing the situations. First it was a drowning, then he was just found there unresponsive, then it could possibly be relapse because he's already had this type of situation, and now it's just deferred. They don't know what's wrong, they're still looking into it. I think this is just a cover-up, and then like I said, eventually they're just gonna spin the narrative that this is just all substance related.
Something else I noticed about the whole situation was actually on October 28th, it was the day of the Hunter Moon phase, which, like we were talking about earlier, Matthew, the last picture that he posted on his Instagram is a clear shot of a crescent moon. On October 28th, when he passed away, it was a Hunter's Moon. And the Hunter's Moon is actually associated with the harvest sacrifice. The Hunter Moon is also associated with the Divine Feminine, which is connected to Kabbalah, which is a Jewish mystic practice. So when we look at that, that's already an occult connection. Just think about it. He passed away in a hot tub, and previously, just 3 days before, he had posted a picture of himself clearly showing the moon and himself in the hot tub. On October 28th, he passes away during a full moon during the Hunter's Moon, which is known to be used for a harvest sacrifice. I think to me that pretty much explains it all. We know how important moon magic is to occultists,
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. We know that events like this are significant to people in Hollywood, and then the fact that we're in this time of October going into November, we know that this is the time that they're getting ready to perform sacrifices. Speaking about the full moon, it wasn't just a full moon that night. It was actually a full blood moon, and according to this article here, on October 28th, the only full blood moon of 2023 will rise headstrong Taurus, bringing a fierce shift that can cause rift in our sense of security as we try to keep a fair balance between our heart and our mind. This moment is all about finding the confidence to get our needs met and getting out of our comfort zones. Plus, it wouldn't truly feel like Halloween without a spooky lunar eclipse. So I find this highly strange that this is how the moon was pictured this day, and then all of the moon pictures that he was posting. All of this just points to something bigger happening.
And yeah, that's extremely interesting because historically, occultists have used blood moons to perform specific rituals, especially sacrifice rituals, because that's when they believe that the moon is at its strongest. These are all occultists. We know Hollywood is ran by occultists, so am I truly surprised that this happened? No. What's surprising is how it happened, because they're claiming that it was in his hot tub, which is unexpected, especially when we're speaking about a grown man. We usually don't see grown men go out like that. But the fact that he posted these photos, which I believe were left as clues, it points to something else happening. There's no way that anyone can tell me that this was not a sacrifice, especially since it was a blood moon that day. And there's so many books of magic that refer to the blood moon as the perfect time for a blood sacrifice. And we're seeing that Perry was showing us days in advance that something was going to happen. Why else would he start acting so strange? It's not like there's a history of disturbing behavior that comes from Perry, or we've seen actions like this come from him before. He seems to be a quiet superstar who just seems to do his Hollywood work, get his money, get his fame, and, stick to himself. But all of a sudden, he starts acting strange. His fans don't know what's going on. And then he passes away on a harvest moon, a blood moon at that, in the same month of October. Very similar to what we saw last year with Takeoff. He showed us what was going to happen to him before it happened. And that's exactly what happened with Matthew. It is not a coincidence that he posted the moon, that he showed this moon imagery and showed himself in the same place that would be his last place. I know you guys are aware enough to notice the signs for yourself. That's why so many of you guys asked me to cover this, because you know there's more to this story.
Definitely. And you want to know something even crazier that I just found out? That same night that Matthew Perry passed, another celebrity actually passed as well. His name is Adam Johnson. He was a hockey player for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he passed away in a freak accident during the middle of the game in front of hundreds of people. So I don't think this is a coincidence. I think that they're working in ways and getting what they need done, and we're just witnessing it. And if you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, just look at how many celebrities have passed away in October. Last year, celebrities passed away under strange circumstances. The year before that has happened. This is a recurring cycle that seems to happen every October, and it's all connected to Sam Hain.
Exactly. Just like I spoke about in the last episode about Halloween. I expose the truth about Halloween. People think Halloween is all about fun, candy, but it's not. It's a pagan festival that goes all the way back to the Celtics, all the way back to ancient times, when they would perform sacrifice and sacrifice their firstborn for blessings and to have a good harvest. This is the exact same thing that's going on now, and we're seeing it every single year. It's not a coincidence. Those in Hollywood traded their souls to have the world. They gave themselves to that industry, and they're paying the consequences of that industry. They're having to deal with the effects of being in that industry. And part of being in that industry is serving this type of system, this type of occult world where anything can happen, where you're giving your soul to these type of people. And that's what I think happened to Matthew Perry. You tell me what this looks like. There is no explanation. He just magically passes away in his hot tub. There is no reasoning. No one took him out. It could be an accident, but at the end of the day, with all these other signs that are present, I don't think so. I'm gonna keep on looking into the situation to see what I can find and discover, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of this, but I'm pretty sure that foul play did happen, and this was most likely a ritual offering. But that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Goodbye, everybody. I hope you guys have a great day.